Well, the Oppo Find N2 Flip has finally come to India, and there are a couple of reasons why I'm excited for this phone. The first, even though the flip phones as a category have been around for a while, they have seen little innovation when it comes to design, and that's largely because there's only one major smartphone player, Samsung, which is selling these phones. The second, which is also an extension of the first reason, is that Samsung also asks a very high price for its flip phones, again largely because it's the only major smartphone player selling these flip foldable phones in India right now. But I think with the arrival of the Find N2 Flip, both those things change. These are exciting times. So the Find N2 Flip was initially launched in China earlier this year. Last month it was introduced in the global markets during a special launch event at London, which I also attended, and it's now finally available in India, and it comes in only single 8GB RAM and 256GB storage variant. I of course have a lot of things to say about this phone, so let's start with the design. So one of the things that I love about the Find N2 Flip is that it comes with a fresh take on the design of these clamshell phones. And there are two reasons for that. One is a new cover display, and the second is a new hinge that Oppo has used on this phone. Let me start with the hinge itself. Well, Oppo has used a special Flexion hinge on this phone, and what it does is it ensures that there is less space between the two halves of the screen. So when you put the phone on a surface like this, you can see both the halves sit flat on top of each other, unlike the Galaxy Z Flip 4 where you get a typical U shape in between. So the Find N2 Flip becomes a little more compact than the Galaxy Z Flip 4. Now also you have to apply less pressure to open and close the Find N2 Flip, even though I feel that this is a little less assuring than the Galaxy Z Flip 4. The advantage of this hinge is that there is hardly any gap for debris or dust particles to get underneath the folding display. The other obvious positive is that you get a very minimal screen crease. In fact, it's barely visible while using the phone unfolded. I was only reminded of it while scrolling through the center of the screen. It's also great to have a bigger and taller cover display. It of course gives you a lot more screen space to interact with. It also is a better way to use the cover display as a viewfinder for your rear camera, which I'll talk about in a minute. But apart from this is a typical compact flip, modern day flip phone, which comes in two color options, black and purple. I have the black color with me here, but of course nothing can match the charm of the purple color. The Find N2 Flip is also lighter than most traditional flagship phones of 2023, fits easily into the pocket and gets the Gorilla Glass 5 protection. The only major thing it misses out in the design department is an official IP rating, and that is something which can be a concern in the longer run. Also, this is the first generation flip phone from Oppo, so I'm not sure about the durability of the phone, even though the company claims that this has been tested to last 4 lakh fold and unfold cycles, which is double than what Samsung claims. When it comes to the displays, let me address the obvious part. First, the inner display here is a 6.8-inch Full HD Plus OLED panel with 120Hz refresh rate, 9:21 aspect ratio. It also gets HDR10 Plus support, and there is a peak brightness of 1600 nits. So most of these specifications are at par with modern day flagship phones. The only thing that you can probably point out is that you may get a higher resolution display at the same price point on any other flagship. But apart from that, the Find N2 Flip is almost there with most modern day flagship devices. And using the phone was mostly fun. The best part is that there's no crease while watching the content, and it feels so refreshing. But it's definitely the cover display that excited me more. Now Oppo has used a considerably large 3.2-inch screen on the cover with a 9:17 aspect ratio, and it's really fun to interact with. It allows you to do more things without unfolding the phone, even though I believe there was potential for more. It's again a very vibrant and punchy display. It shows important information like date, time, phone's battery status, can be used to access the control center and to read notifications. Oppo has also added support for a few widgets like weather, timer, camera, etc. The cover display actually feels like you have a phone on the outside of your actual phone. Now while I say this, I'm also aware that a lot more could have been achieved with this hardware with a little bit better software support. For example, you could have added support for more apps on the cover display itself, or you could have had more widgets to make use of. But again, given that this is the very first Find N2 Flip phone, hopefully these things, we get to see these things with the coming generations. The increased screen space also lets you use this phone cover display as a better viewfinder than on the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4's horizontal cover display. Let me explain that. So what used to happen when I used to click pictures using the Galaxy Z Flip 4, because of the horizontal display, the viewfinder used to crop a lot of things while I was previewing them. So the actual image that used to come out would be very different to what I had previewed initially. But with the Find N2 Flip, it shows you exactly what you're trying to cover, especially while keeping the phone in this tint mode. So you can vertically see whatever you are trying to, capture, and the images are sort of closer to what I actually want to capture. See, as of now, even though this is a more intrusive cover display, I still find myself unfolding the phone most of the times to do even the basic tasks. So here's something for both Samsung and Oppo to look at and make sure that this particular screen becomes more useful in the future. Now the Find N2 Flip also challenges the Galaxy Z Flip 4 when it comes to the performance. It comes with a pretty decent MediaTek Dimensity 9000 Plus chipset with 8GB of RAM. The chip is not as powerful as some of the Snapdragon's latest 8th gen lineup SoCs, but keeps up well with most tasks. This is actually the first foldable phone I have used with a MediaTek chip, and I'm impressed with the optimization and performance. I used the phone for about 15 days to get to London with me, and my use case mostly included playing games, capturing a lot of images, scrolling through social media websites, and even to watch a lot of content. And I am absolutely satisfied with the performance. There have been absolutely no lags or performance related issues on this particular phone. Now the other advantage of two screens is that you can use them for a better multitasking. For example, a lot of these apps come optimized for the two-screen form factor, especially the camera app. Let's say if you want to preview an image, what you can do is the upper part becomes a viewfinder for you to preview the images, while the bottom part becomes sort of a controller for your camera. So you can use it like that. You can also use the phone like this in the traditional cam recorder mode and shoot a lot of cool videos. And on the software front also, I think Oppo has done a very good job. This one comes with ColorOS 13 based on Android 13, which feels very similar to the Oxygen OS, which I recently used on the OnePlus 11 and 11R. But I really like how this whole software and the UI is optimized for this dual screen form factor. Plus, Oppo is also promising 4 years of software updates on this phone, which again puts it at par with the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4. I think it's a huge step from Oppo to compete with Samsung. You also get 5 years of security updates. So in terms of longevity, this phone is right there. A major improvement here is again on the battery front. Now all the foldable and flip phones have struggled with the battery, but what Oppo has smartly done is managed to squeeze in a bigger 4300 mAh battery in this one as compared to the 3700 mAh battery pack that you get on the Galaxy Z Flip 4. So the battery definitely lasts longer. I could squeeze in almost a day's battery life, which is I think very impressive for a phone of this form factor. And also fast charging finally makes it to the flip phones. Now this one supports 44 watt of fast charging. You still get an 80 watt charger inside the box. So yes, the phone goes from 0 to 100% in about an hour, which is again a huge relief. Now the flip or foldable phones in general have been a letdown when it comes to the camera performance. Now this one definitely is again not a class leading camera phone, but it does a decent job. I will focus more on what you can achieve from this camera system and this form factor. But let me take you through the camera specifications first. At the back, there is a dual camera setup, which includes a 50 megapixel main sensor, a 8 megapixel ultra wide angle sensor, and on the front, you get a 32 megapixel selfie shooter. Let's look at some of the images that I have clicked from the main camera. It mostly gets the job done. I covered London with this phone and managed to click some good images. It generally captures sharp and well detailed images in daylight. But as in case of most Android phones these days, the Find N2 Flip also has this tendency to boost the colors. You can see in the images, brighter colors like red, green and blue really pop. Whether you like it or not is a personal choice. The HDR performance is decent but can be better. The camera limits can be seen in night photography though. While I managed to get some good images around a light source, most pictures taken in low light lacked a punch. The performance of the ultra wide angle again depends a lot on the light conditions. In good light, I've clicked some great images, but otherwise this can look a very ordinary sensor. And yes, I did miss a dedicated telephoto sensor because the zoom pictures were not great. Now this brings me to the expand mode, which OnePlus had initially introduced with the OnePlus 9 and the OnePlus 9 Pro a couple of years ago. What it does is basically it allows you to take panoramic shots in with a very cinematic sort of an effect. And I'll be very honest, I have not had as much fun using a camera feature as this one in a very long time. I mean, the fact that you could just stand in front of the London Eye and capture the whole view from the back in one single image is just absolutely brilliant. It's amazing. You can see the pictures yourself. They have come out so well. I mean, the other big camera feature, of course, is the ability to use the cover display now as the viewfinder. As I pointed out initially, it is more functional than the Galaxy Z Flip 4, and that's one of the reasons why I found myself using this as a viewfinder far more than what I had previously done on the Samsung phones. In fact, it also comes with the palm gesture support. So what you need to do is just put the phone like this, show your palm, and the picture gets clicked automatically. You don't even have to touch the phone. It's again a very good feature to have on a phone. And of course, if you are into vlogging, then other option is that you can record a lot of videos holding the phone like this, like the good old traditional cam recorders. And I have in fact recorded a few videos using this mode in London. You can watch them and figure out the camera quality by yourself. Now the question is whether you should buy this phone or not. Well, I think absolutely. If you're in the market for a clamshell phone design, you want a flip phone, I think you should definitely consider this one. What I've done is I've also done a side-by-side comparison of the Find N2 Flip with the Galaxy Z Flip 4. The video will be up on our Hindi channel very soon. But I think the Oppo phone here comes with less compromises. It has a very functional design, good camera, performance, the battery is pretty decent, and of course you get the fast charging here as well, and the software promise is also pretty solid. Now in exchange, what you miss out on is the official IP rating. There's no wireless charging support on this one, and I kind of miss the telephoto sensor on this phone. So I would rather take these I would rather miss out on these and buy this phone for less if I want this particular form factor in general. Now Fiiber's rating, my rating for this phone is 8 out of 10. I hope I have addressed all your questions and queries about this phone. If I did miss out on something, do put it in the comment section and I'll take them up in the coming days for sure. Thank you for watching the video.